Hi, I'm Alex Catchpole from Organergy, and I'm passionate about improving one's health. The best thing you can do to improve your health is possibly take yourself a little less seriously, relax, and smile. This whole health charade that is very popular at the minute, I do have concerns that people are going down rabbit holes, the wrong rabbit holes, and thinking that if they just ate this like perfect diet, everything's going to be better. Life is multi-dimensional. It's definitely not that simple. Obviously, all components need to be firing on all cylinders. So you do need to eat healthy. You do need to look after your microbiome, and you do need to find the optimal fuel source for your body. But my concern is that people are just stressing too much about their health. And on that segue, we're going to talk about antioxidants, polyphenols, because it's the external and internal stresses on our body which are aging us and causing us problems. So the right amount and the right type of antioxidants, polyphenols, for me is one of the best things you can do to improve your health. Carrying on from my last blood sugar video, which I recommend you check out, we're going to talk about a way to start burning an alternative fuel source. I don't believe this to necessarily it should be the alternative fuel source. A woman in her third trimester will just go crazy for fat, and I know this for a fact. And that is for the development of their unborn child's brain and nervous system, myelin sheath being developed. They just need lots of fat. When the baby comes out, breast milk, and the fattiness of that milk is through the scale, off the scale rather. So I don't think it is necessarily should be an alternative fuel source, but people are weaning kids onto rice and cereals and things that are going to get turned into glucose, and glucose then becomes the primary fuel source. I totally believe that this is a massive part of the health crisis we have at the minute. Burning fat for fuel, for me, is a massive step in the right direction for regaining your health. So we're going to talk a bit about that. So fasting is definitely out and out the best way to create this ketotic state for your body to create ketones, which they then burn as fuel. The brain loves it. So intermittent fasting, extending the fasting window, so you have a shorter eating period within the day, and then you manage to be, sleeping and have an early meal and a late breakfast. You've then just opened this massive window where your body is able to rest and rejuvenate. And I find that's the best way to adapt your body to become fat burning. And then the first thing you eat, definitely no carbs and probably no protein. Have a fatty breakfast. That bulletproof coffee has been kicking around and has become very popular. I have a take on it myself. I do it, I love it, but this is my caffeine-free version. It's a Love Life turmeric latte, super high in polyphenols. Polyphenols are going to feature a lot in these up-and-coming videos. So when you hear the word polyphenol in the future, think of me. For me, they're just the unsung heroes. You can get a number of polyphenols into your diet at a reasonably low cost, and you can really spice up your life. Basically herbs and spices. Cloves, cacao and coffee have massive, like off the scale amounts of polyphenols. So for me, getting cacao and coffee and cloves into my diet as much as possible is a big thumbs up. Cinnamon, what else have you got here? So we've got some turmeric and some cayenne pepper. All herbs and spices have some amount of polyphenol, some more than others. So we're doing the turmeric latte today, which I'm basically calling the polyphenol powerhouse. We want to have you can't have too many of these quite strong flavors, because obviously you're going to need to balance it out with some sweetness. But we're going for the fat burning start to the day, so we're going to have to use something that's definitely not going to create spikes in our blood sugar. So we're going to use, you can do this as a cacao latte. We're using cacao butter and that beautiful yellow butter I use. We've melted that with a cup of water. To that we're going to add some grated nutmeg. We're going to add some crushed garlic. Garlic? What's he on about? Cloves. Crushed cloves. Nutmeg. So turmeric, cinnamon, really high in polyphenols. A little bit of cayenne pepper. And that's really, the cayenne pepper is to assist in the uptake. It increases your circulation and your heart rate. And it is really good for that little fire, as we're not having any caffeine. So the cinnamon, the turmeric. We're going to use some black pepper, not so much for the polyphenol content, but I'm aware that black pepper amplifies turmeric, curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric, its absorption massively. Clove and some nutmeg. Only really small amounts of these. They're very powerful spices, and we don't want to have to balance it out with too much sweetness. So we're going to use collagen. Collagen is the best thing, I believe, for aging, for skin, for connective tissue, for joints, and my personal preference is the ability for it to heal or help strengthen the gut lining. So I'm a big fan of Love Life Collagen, because they've gone one step above the rest. This is the first time I've seen such a collagen with an added vitamin C. Again, antioxidant. We all need a bit of vitamin C, especially until the days are getting brighter. And we're going to use, whoop-a-daisy, I'll put the C8. C8 oil, direct to ketones. You need to have another fat source being consumed at the same time as the C8. This is so strong. It's the shorter chain derived from coconut. I've used cacao butter and normal butter. The normal butter just gives it that extra creaminess. And you don't need much of this stuff. This is very strong. So just a little bit of this going in here. I've got it sat in a porringer, mug of hot water, the cacao butter, the normal butter, the C8 are my oils, and then we've just got an array of really rich polyphenol spices. Basically a chai latte. I think Ayurveda knew what they were doing. They definitely did. So we've got all those spices, and then we're going to need a sweetener. If I'm doing this later in the day and I'm not doing it as a purely transition into, from fasting into fat burning, ketosis, I'd probably use a raw honey. And there's something, half glucose, half fructose is the balance of sugars in honey. And there's something about having that with those fats that doesn't, I do blood glucose monitor, check it beforehand and check it hours after. It doesn't spike my blood sugar in a crazy fashion. But if we're going for a pure fat burning morning drink, we can't have anything that is going to spike our blood sugar. So my sweetener of choice is erythritol or xylitol. And so I don't want too much of either of them, but just enough to give it that delicious flavour. So what I do is have minimal amounts of the polyphenols. You don't need much. Get them in with just a teaspoon of erythritol. And then you need to blend it. Obviously oil and waters really need to be blended up. I have been known to use my yolk in this, and it really fires up your brain. But for a morning fat burner, we don't really want any protein. So I'm going to do this one without honey and without a yolk, because I want this to be an example of the perfect morning drink to transition you from your, extended fasting over the night and into the morning. You want to be drinking lots of water. I assume that goes without saying. If you're tuning into a health channel, I'm assuming you are already aware that water is life. This is going a little longer than my normal videos, so as I'm pouring the drink, I'll do my like, share, subscribe. If you've found anything valuable in this video or you want to see more of these videos, I need to see people's interest and support to make this worthwhile, me carrying on doing it. So please like, share and subscribe. There's buttons somewhere around here. For me, this is the perfect start today. The amount of nutrition from all those polyphenol-rich herbs, those fats, the quality, really quality fats get you into a really good fat-burning mode. And the C8, I just feel it. It fires up my brain. For me, I'm now not hungry for like 5-6 hours after having a beverage like this. And then for my next meal, you need to make sure you're having, again, some polyphenols, but lots of fiber. So if, this is my breakfast, my lunch and dinner would be incredibly vegetable, fiber, and some healthy fats platter. Okay. The porringer manages to keep everything really hot. It's not super sweet. If the first time you try this, you might need to go back. You might need to experiment with adding more erythritol or xylitol, but it's delicious, and I know it's super good for me, and it's going to keep me fueled. Great, thanks so much.